Welcome to the Sponsorship Warehouse with Ali and Carrie. We are here today to talk a bit about what goes in a proposal.
Mm-hmm.
And this proposal, and we're going to be looking at it through a lens of specifically sponsorship or partnership proposals in the professional body and association space. So what we would include as the basic core elements, and that, this is kind of applicable depending on whether you're writing a proposal for a podcast sponsorship series, whether it's for webinars, whether it's for a specific event, whether it's for a big initiative or campaign or a research project. There is a real structure that we follow because there's a few things. These proposals that go internally to a sponsor, we always write them from a place of them really being that they could land in the inbox of anyone. So yes, you have an initial conversation with, say, their head of marketing. And the head of marketing goes, brilliant, this has been a really good conversation. Could you send me through some further information to review internally with my colleagues? That's fine. But that marketing person might then share it with their events person, with their head of PR, because there might be a PR element. They might just take it to a board meeting to get sign off. If there's any element that touches on CSR objectives, their head of CSR or sustainability officer might need to review it.
Mm-hmm.
Companies have a lot more review points and sign-off points for partnerships and brand alignments than there was like 10 years ago. 10 years ago, a head of marketing might have a budget and they could just sign off whatever they wanted. But more and more we're seeing that your proposal, the document you send as a follow-up to a conversation, needs to be written and cover off a number of basics. And we still find a PDF document tends to be the best format because they can share it internally. People can pop comments on it. They can circulate it. It doesn't get stuck in spam. You're not sending an external link. If it's something really standard that you're sending, say it's your media pack, that could be online on your website because your media pack doesn't change. You don't necessarily tailor that. It's something that anyone could go in and have a look at. So it living on a place on your website and being a link out and a digital flick through, fine. But when we're talking about bespoke opportunities that you really want to look tailored to a sponsor, there's quite a few little things that we try and make sure is in there.
Yeah, okay. And carry on, but I really want to come back to that point because there are some don'ts in terms of your PDF proposals that I really want to cover off towards the end of this. I'm going to really try hard to remember what it is. So carry on because I'm just car parking some massive don'ts in my brain now.
I'll remind you. So always write your proposal as if they don't know who you are. So I always start off with a bit of a cover page. I then do a who you are section. So about you, and make sure it covers off who you are, who your membership is on a high level, what you're there to achieve, what your mission and objectives are. Really heavy hitting points around who you are, what you do and why you do it. Because this proposal might go to someone that your marketing director hasn't spoken with and you need to be representing yourself in your written word, in your voice. So a page on who you are and what you do.
So we call that generally the About Us section.
About Us section. Then I go into, what's the opportunity? What's the value proposition? So why are you approaching this company? Why are they a good fit? And what will they benefit from aligning with this opportunity? So not diving straight into how much it's going to cost, not diving into the ins and outs of the proposition, but a high level reinforcement of if you partner align on this program of work, you will achieve X, Y, and Z. And normally you need to tailor that based on what the marketing person or whoever you have the exploratory call with tells you.
Yeah.
Use their language, tailor their language into it. If they use the word audience instead of membership, just go in and make some tweaks and some changes. If they say their key objectives are about brand profile alignment, getting their subject matter experts out there, increasing their stakeholder engagement and increasing their consideration in the market, that there's a ready-made list there that you can regurgitate to some degree back to them in that value section. Proposition.
And we call that the why.
Yeah, the why. Why would they do it? Then an intro into what it is. So your who, what, and why, how. What is the project? What is it looking to achieve? How is it going to be delivered? What is the timeline? And what will the sponsor get? And this is probably spread out over, I would say, normally 3 to 4 pages. Timeline, do it visually. It's much more engaging. And you can do it on a high level as well. You can even put an asterisk next to it that says draft. It doesn't have to be a set in stone.
Yeah.
But a sponsor loves to see when things are going to kick off, when the key deliverable is going to be, and how they can map that against their own activities.
Yeah. Can I pick up on that? So it's really important that the sponsor gets to understand and gets that real sense or feeling that this is a planned activity. You're not flying by your bootstraps. You literally, this is something that is in plan, is in budget. You're going to do anyway. It's going to be high quality. People are on it. There's individuals who are responsible for delivering this activity, and that they're going to be involved. Should they say yes to the opportunity, they're going to be involved in something that's credible, strong, going to be run professionally, and they're going to get a return on it somehow. And your proposal, just by laying out those what, when, how, timeline, etc., communicates that actually you know what you're doing.
Yeah, you've got a plan.
You've got a plan.
Yeah. So for an event, it'll be, basics. When is it? Where is it happening? How many people are going to it? What types of members are going to be in the room? What's your agenda? And then what are the options? Are you having a headline and then some stream sponsorships against key topics? Is there an exhibition? If it's a research project, what is the research looking to achieve? What are going to be some of the questions you're asking? What are the outputs going to be from that research project? Are you going to be doing a report? Is there going to be PR and media? Is there going to be policy and lobbying work? List it out in a really high level way, but also give them the detail that they need to make a decision. Don't just say, we're running an event on this day, full stop. You need to give them a little bit more. Because also, just remember, it's going to be circulated to other people that weren't on the call where you explained it directly.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that timeline and you've put in all the detail about the opportunity, it's all about the investment and summary section at the back to wrap it up and recap why they should work with you, what they're going to gain from it, and then place in the investment section. And next steps is the last bit on the proposal. So why are you going to do it, what the investment level is, and also if you've got any terms. So is it a 2-year partnership? Is it a 1-year partnership, etc.? And then some next steps, which is really key.
And in the how section, I think it's really important to cover off, like, how is the activity going to be communicated and marketed? So what is the reach? What is the distribution? Like, for instance, for an event, you will have a pre-event. So your audience that attends the event might actually be slightly different to that larger group that you're going to be promoting the event to in the first place. If you're doing some research, the sample that you're going to be promoting to that the sponsor could get in front of could be really large, but be very different to the group that the report and the outputs or the events relating to that research are going to reach afterwards. So be really clear on the breakdown of the audience group, so who it's going to be attracting, and branch out, so break out a page specifically on your marketing, your communications.
And the other tip that I do quite often with proposals do have quite a lot of detail is you put a schedule at the back.
Yeah.
So do your page where you talk about the opportunity and what it's going to be delivered and how it's going to be delivered. And then pop a schedule in the back that has the full partnership details. Brand will go here. Input will occur here. Logo and commentary will go here. You'll get to have a speaker on X number of podcasts. You'll be able to use the report at your events. Our speakers will come and join at your events. Often, if I feel that that's too much detail in the bulk of the proposal, I'll put it in as a schedule, because you're giving them the detail that they need to make the decision, but it's not taking up 2 big pages in the middle of the proposal. And if they need to take it to board level, for example, the board don't want to know all that detail, but your marketing events team might. So it's about making the proposal work harder for you in all the situations in anyone's inbox that it's going to land on.
Yeah.
And any evidence that you have of similar activity, of work with sponsors, and any statistics. You know, if you're saying that they're going to get in front of senior members, you need to be able to back that up with some stats. So whack in a pie chart of how senior members are. Share some of their sample job titles and descriptions of who's going to be in the room. give your sponsor a sense of who these people are, because saying they'll get in front of 10,000 members versus saying you'll get in front of 10,000 members and this is the profile of who they are and this is how we reach them, way different
Much
story.
stronger message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So make sure that's built in there as well. But they are probably
Agree.
the core basic elements of what goes in there. And obviously, like, you know, some of the basics like contact information and pulling that all together and things like that. But for me, they are the top things that need to sit in there, and they're what sponsors are looking for at the moment.
Yeah, 100%.
You often then have to create business case information afterwards, and they might ask some questions, etc. But that's all part of your sales process. But that initial proposal that hooks them in, whether it's from a concept document all the way through to a full event, you know, all your different opportunities in one proposal, following those basics will be really useful.
So just to recap all of these sections that you've just gone through, the important thing that really works for us is we work really hard to create a proposal that is reflective of the opportunity, including all the sections that you just ran through, Carrie. But we then tailor that, particularly the why, the value proposition piece up the front for each conversation that we've had. And we've just done a previous podcast on how to approach sponsors. You would already have approached them. Ideally, you'd already have an idea of what that hook is for them, and you would tailor that value proposition section. So it could take us anywhere from half a day to 2 or 3 days to write a winning sponsorship proposal that we know is just going to absolutely kick butt.
Yeah.
But it's defining and tailoring that why section for every conversation.
Yeah, it might be a topic for another day, but also obviously don't create that proposal in isolation.
Yeah.
You need to go get your marketing team to sign off and input into it, because they might have some fantastic stats that you could build in and make it better.
Yeah.
If your event team need to be involved because they know the ins and outs of the room space and what can be done and what can't be done, make sure you loop in your colleagues who are going to have some element or need to be part of the delivery team around it. And I will chew your ear off about that another time. But don't just create your proposal, take it out to market, and then your colleagues are like, well, we can't deliver that.
I know.
We can't do that. We don't have space to
do that.
We
see that all the time.
So just a word of caution is do talk to your colleagues and loop them in, because that will make it a stronger proposition.
And when we develop proposals working with membership organisations, we work with all different departments. We get them signed off. We never take anything out to a sponsor without it being like fully like signed off internally to make sure it's deliverable. Because the last thing you want is a sponsor coming back going, yeah, we really want to do that. That sounds really great. And you go internally and talk to a colleague and they go, no, that's impossible. We could never do that. Like that in that timeline.
Egg on face.
Yes, egg on face. And that's the last thing you want to have is like damage your brand reputation in front of a sponsor who's
We'll have to go back to them. You've done all that hard work.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than going back to them going, oh, you know that proposal that I sent you?
That you said yes to?
I can't do that
anymore. Yeah, no, we hate it when that happens.
Yeah.
So don't do that. The thing that you touched on, I wanted to circle back round to, is the investment section in a proposal. For us, it's really important to be really strong and confident and clear with the investment amount. No wishy-washy. Don't avoid putting a price in there. Don't undervalue it. We can do another chat another day on valuation and how much to charge for things and how to negotiate, etc. But be really confident and assured, and actually don't put a fee or price, put the investment, because this is an investment from sponsors into your activity. This is an investment in that their business is making, that they hope to see a return and that you're going to deliver some value back to them. It's a transaction. So be really confident about your investment piece.
Yeah, you don't want any language like we are looking for, or ideally we would need X amount to deliver this.
Yeah, it's
just about we have valued this opportunity at X plus VAT. Be really clear. If it's plus or inclusive,
GST,
or GST or whatever tax you need to fit into it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have valued this opportunity at X amount plus VAT per annum for the next 3 years, because you might be looking for a long-term headline partner on your event.
Yeah.
And you could say this investment includes and is valued based on credibility, brand alignment, reach and engagement with the audience, the speaking opportunities, the breadth of social media, the 8-month marketing campaign in the lead up to the event. Do a real quick bullet point list at that point, because also the investment page, you'll have a marketing person or the senior decision maker. They'll read the first page, they'll read what the opportunity is, and they'll flick down to your timeline and your investment page.
Yeah. They'll skip all the other stuff.
They'll skip all the other stuff because they would have expected their team to have reviewed that properly and before a proposal lands on their desk. So you need that investment page. If they're going to be reading one page, it's going to be that one. And you want to, even if you slightly are repeating yourself, pop in those real reasons for why the investment is what it is, because that also helps you not get into a situation where they're going, well, why do I need to pay for this? I'm X company. I could bring this to the table. Normally our senior experts are paid to speak at these types of events. There's another episode.
There's a whole negotiation.
There's a whole other negotiation
on how to respond to sponsors who would like to just give you time and documents and resources instead of money. So we
how
can
about
talk
I
about
don't
that.
invest and sponsor this event, but I could host it in my offices. I'll come on to all of that another time. But yes, make sure that investment page works as hard for you as the rest of the document has, and you reinforce that. And it's really clear. Even we add in things like the partnership was subject to mutually agreed terms and conditions, etc., etc. We are open to looking at investment structures in split payments, because some corporates might, if it's a really big investment, need to split it over a couple of financial years. So the fact that you put those in, or quarters, or it could be 50% on signing and 50% in the week before the event. If you're putting these types of things in your investment section, you're showing to them that you know what you're doing, you're flexible to some degree, and also you acknowledge that they might have budgets and things going on their side. So that's also a really good section of it. And that could be written in just a couple of sentences. Doesn't need to be War and Peace. But yeah, I would say they're probably the top things that I'd be popping in my sponsorship proposal, and I'm working on quite a few at the moment. But they're the key things that I really
working on lots. And we also have templates, proposals that are available on the sponsorshiptoolkit.com website that are available, that cover everything from events to podcasts to research etc. So go and take a look at those. But one of the areas I had to laugh, you touched on it there, I feel like, and it is related to this, but again, it's probably something for another day, is when we see clients that are determined to put their PDF proposal on their website. Yeah. And of course that limits you from being able to tailor it. So if your competitors to see it, and if you are going to put your proposal on your website, remove the pricing. Yeah. Remove any sort of element of personalization. It's an example proposal. It's not the final thing.
Exactly. Or pop if you'd like a detailed conversation, a proposal on this opportunity, please email, blah, blah. Pop some contact details in.
Yeah.
You can still capture those sponsors that are coming to your website, but you lose the opportunity to tailor and have a personalized conversation, and it just opens you up to your competitors stealing stuff, because they'll be on the lookout for what you're doing. They'll be having a look as well.
Yeah.
So,
and when we mean competitors, it could be any other type of trade membership organization, professional body, etc., that is holding a conference on the same day that covers the same topics. It doesn't have to be a direct industry to industry competitor. So we could do a whole different podcast on competition and sort of sectoral working together and collaborating, and how to create a unique selling proposition. But yeah, I think today we've covered off all the areas that we typically include in a proposal. Yeah. So thank you for tuning in.
Thanks. You've been listening to our latest chit chat in the Sponsorship Warehouse. So thank you very much, and we look forward to having you tune in with us next week.